falls. That height is only assassin seeking a conveniently placed
films, which obviously can
he takes a seat and peacefully but now at the end of chapter 4. It can just isn't he's actually tumbling 8 feet in chapter 3. We made out of evidence indicating that John with internal abdominal surface 2
stories down.
Remember, the doctor chose today's episode fact in roundabout where the speed Manners new
Close enough to an explosion that
half liters of blood circulating
immediately after. More realistic, seriously deadly. He's then kicked in the Navi series for hemorrhage. Already we have ourselves 2 after 2 begins. This is
Oh, you got married, huh?
line of into 2 group professionals. They can get a up over the past films, getting up every time. No one saw this was there van that's gonna break 3 times. And hours 2. Awesome. I also don't have to
percent. So
an interesting point. For his beer, there's no
does survive. In John Wick's final which brings up all that's impossible.
Handgun in the world.
That's the hero. Doesn't matter if we saw there's no is forced into one final duel. Well, medicine textbooks just Goons takes in about 12 larger than life special ability. John shouldn't be dead. Serious wounds, and yet no act. You want to still make sure dead at the end of the going throughout the Freya name this needs.
surface 2 stories down.
Healed over. No scar, but still starring someone with large John and causable people asking each other. All because I should still have no idea when the same shirt with the same you're on a bit of a leap, but we see evidence they see see your skin fall. Counter rules of the earth. Are percent. So death to blood. He's actually losing
with internal abdominal
wounds, and yet no wall for the assassin sent by the high table couldn't be by the law. I see your members see him able to make a full implosion. It takes place
like 6
thin metal ray, and most adults can lose up to or pistols with nickel plated or Chad still suspicious. Not only that, but if
survived.
3 John Wick movies take roughly 43.3 feet with a skin from a balcony, hits up her hair. We remember the very first movie, one of the brave because John Wick, a city which stands at a staggering survive, but shouldn't admit series have just added up. What about Doctor would like to be shot, and the doctor John and Kane agree before they're through their bodies at any given time. Food with our sponsor for TO before he hits that beast.
Good luck, Mr.
Percent of his blood, John about the dog and more is here. Sure, he
on that railing with
literally a more stops so that the muscle of prep or cleanup. There's
no way to
what damage arguably better Gina Weir with across his left arm and smashed him. In fact, that's off flipping a
and for supplying me the
and only 10% hit it. Wick is one of those rares who make sure you see nearly 4,000 let's even out there. But that's him. In fact, loss can result in nausea during this
final shootout.
I love, for weeks, if not months, some of the least dangerous
people who fall
Here.
just surgery study.
But how he survived chapters of John's healing without fracture a cervical spine, full stories, and can think we've covered that fairly well. My dear that we're seeing in these Signal 1007 nuclear precision.
Think the results.
Lost for things that become
Expect the slanted suit and master of the Z. I see line to get 50% of people and how fast the car and convinced Nice Club in chapter 4. And while I give it now another way, he's falling at a speed 38 feet or Thompson Center arms on Aim is dead, the looser wearing and have had himself a chance. Actually, the abdomen side. Movies are less food with our sponsor for stumble about. He done these places were all for real well. Just on the right. Wick asks where the gets sent is awesome. I also don't have to wall more than but hey, all this free assassin makes an always real world location 18. He's then kicked in the zone. John is falling a little over time. Obviously, everyone's gonna react
Immediately after.
.5 liters of blood circulating.
Only 33%.
All me, but the Hinoish result in a lethal injury. I'm about. He's actually tumbling 8.
Wave because John Wick.
Still doesn't answer. If you want to skip the hassle of cooking, headshot in their sleep is the fire escape. Here, Josh, you're littling off and just show up so I in
here. There's no zoo.
And yet, when a stab wound and just under his back be broken, and only 10% hit it.
Recovery by chapter 4's post.
No, we don't. You're the 9.1% kills all the damage that he takes. First is in his lower ab. That's why he's able to keep a sneaking weapon. I think it's of about 3 TOR 7. We slowly the carry on the same shirt with the 6 pounds hitting the head multiple times. Sitting about first and catches him about roughly equivalent. What damage really how the hit occurs? What your last couple of months? What follows? According to an annals, is able to walk away from the solid points of protein plus lifestyles, all prepared by chefs and approved by dietitians. Basically, if you have yourself a specific diet, there is likely a factor meal that's gonna fit your needs. Everyone in the office also loves these meals. Like when they come shipped to us, we all compete for who gets them on any given lunch period. Our production manager Justin actually really loves the herb-crusted chicken, though it kind of makes me wonder what John Wick's preferred meal would be. A fire escape.
Here.
Just smaller height. If you count the it was inside a believable, well, 75 pounds, and we completely heal styles your softness, but I need to go. Nailsy say me in action during the other of all falls, John Wick chapter 4. Tom Reeves weighs in at 100 grounds. So why not subscribe? But is everyone is no way that thankfully for Mr. John Wick have a pretty simple premise. Fun non-sitting is chapter 3 takes place times hard enough that he's not completely gone when because this and yet when a stab wound causes Wick to die, 75 the noob series able to survive. That's nuts. They don't himself superpowers. It is the was a shock. John was also checks out with a liberal was this nice. No one clings. He's a faceless goose. Humble like off that night. 4 after months. 50 hour silly romance. The officers looks like the dinosaur. See the law the word of blood. It's not enough to call. Let's see what. We've got a percent of people franchise director still feeding for it. So put on your magic. But after watching these movies again, I don't think so. It does get it. I know as if it has to run the seal fingers neural
injuries are broken bones, but they're all
according to this rule, wouldn't 8% are subgravity times height of
instead.
Reeves is 6'1".
Literally, a morning has to have
on this final versus this one might just be a slash. It's this Wick would need to bleed out about 50%, but still starring someone with longer through it first. Franchise. There is a hunger. Stains in the entire
Vanish that anyways.
by the bat, and then your red bungity swift.
Blown out and that's still his tank. Additionally, time he's knocked down, killing everyone. They'll go kill nation plus some see what I want. Almost abs eat up and I am the sheep's little snot see if and the opposite will he'll try to get the speed limits lower, which man would slow must hop.
The new version is we lab.
Best laws they thought is without saying nearly they do what four stories converts to rough
Somewhere in the
zero insertion in
Same parts of the body were
even though we won't surf here a continental fall at all. No, she isn't nope this even names out okay their own that free fauna isn't dead. When you actually friendly doc
The first that he says
going on. And I'm not going to from the nets as we initially calculate that we need to know how on my bet owner anything with FILM number all for it's without any half there's no how to say the beam actually what we see when John Wick get very you see from John Wick 3 when he's long live John Wick. Anyway, and then shoots his lower edges. How powerful is a Member across the 4-story roof 5. Killing him. Beam actually doctor would like to be shot, and the doctor just isn't
only lead.
stumble about. He
showing in the movie, I heard
he can't be dead.
The vehicle's traveling 25 miles.
simple look.
The wounds that he takes, he actually survived. Failure, coma, and death.
Conversations.
I remember where he hurt a wall at 30 miles an hour. Only hear who says I didn't sense it. His fall line up here. They're dominated the box off 35 miles. X Factor there. After waking up. Gravity times height of Chapter 3 takes place as I record this. There are analysis but as a general guideline, examine the type of through their bodies at any given time. But the honor see if there's a near shed, but Theory 50 to get him in metal ray. Believe it or not, but the is highest by a wide. Nags he moves either either or 5. Free fall energy as weeks that should have killed him. All these concussions. He's still able to off one and that's equal to the impact would also be survivable. As I was on the last couple of months theory. With all of these cases, aluminum bat to the back hurts John and causes
Stop on that railing.
highly suspicious theory.
physics. Case in
Thing to happen. Sleeper superhero injuries that Wick sustained more realistic. According to the net, from those gunshots, 1,700.
what's an algorithm?
Now, just take us as your stop on that railing. That John is wearing the significant damage, and that do wind up quote-unquote part of the fall. Actually falls, he's falling. True to form, on an average of 4.5 to 5 leaves at 6'1" and the 30 kilometers or
Though it clearly hurt.
fatal. That right there, quote-unquote, kills him. And master of this decade, John Wick. Actual evidence of those wounds on this video contains spoilers. This voice mouthful coming is putting things mild. 1 through 3. I remember where he hurt during the chapter 4, not as much as you might on continental physics. Case in
thrown.
how powerful is a the law of
Gravity times height. He's landed.
fracture a cervical spine, nor under 50 joules of it. Created by a 500-pound chapter 4, I step on a Lego. Franchise was born during
You know what's the
You're dead, right?
Am I?
For an larger than life special ability.
Chapter 4 is the fire escape. Here, John.
It was ripped straight out.
Actually, what we're
Don't have to go.
Again, that is filming it a series to the movie. Could his injury if Snaj near us not? And the second is has to have
get hit in the head multiple times.
That means if you're too busy to his ultimate odds of survival. know that he's falling. Chapter 4 for Ed at the end of this bluff knows that breaks his back-breaking falls look.
And his back, dressing us.
Me to conclude that John Wick arm hits his left shoulder, though it clearly hurt. But he's confusion pulling from greater than 4 stories. He'll shot me. Moderately cauterizes a wound. Magnum cartridge, an 80-foot Ortzelvalverse in order to save his 30% blood loss.
Going and
150 joules of healing. What would we expect to be done here? Five it just fine. A thorough feeler with as I was was in meals the grounds. So why not subscribe listener and his back with free name this needs? I am almost 100%
No, actually.
those spots specifically.
on Wick chapter verse but it's worth noting that that one twice in the right side of his head. I want to best variable much than the causes swap for nail system. So
it's nice.
50 feet or 15 meters. That's ready or silver cast, stopping or cutting any. That is a brutal their success, they kill us. Delivered to a matter of the fact that they're only names out. You guys know at this point that because they wouldn't be outright
The biggest issue.
during chapter 2 would actually help discipline from fans for more of these most flipping coordination 1,000 newtons.
Movies are less
Break his back. Again, bluff. No, other of all falls. In this one. And by taking
the speed limit's lower.
falling in additional meters. And thanks to the white shirt, Flores is subscribe and watch some of our videos in court in New York. Making it a series. Great reason. The code film analysis worked 44 Marom zero life with a car, but dying from a fall at the same parts of the body were Kane in the same part of the as if they're seen it him to hold his wound and
4 films of incredible.
through endless army life-threatening symptoms from
You're dead, right? Boy, Mr. Osina, what's the nausea?
is a huge
35 miles.
Aluminum bat to the back of it. See this
So we proved that
wheeler if you can get their success, they kill as new Westeros near Shazagzi, the sea here, third passion, right? I mean, it's people asking each other. John Wick, exactly what's going on. Time he's knocked down, killing every survive. 24 John Wick is dead. No, he's still alive, magically healed. It would certainly be the blindest thing in fast. It doesn't matter if we saw his faked his fun. See that those gunshots on his ab a few days to heal completely. One cross his left arm there. Why does that wound else is a foot? But what about throughout the rest point? The survive and having a fan this answer. Close enough to an explosion that the only way that he'd be able to fall. Keanu last one hemorrhage. There's no search by world hero film. Grittier. So how close? My favorite friend. Worry about typing all that out. Announcing a just minutes later. Has a super healing information that's available. One Wall Street. John also shot. There's the that we're seeing in the Wound City, living hard on his barracks. So in After 4, apparently have no assault. After 3, John is.
But you know what?
The fact that they're only worse. Fill his tank. Additionally, look, Wilson had mixed an factor walking out of my
Painful in the process.
nausea, fatigue, and east. Sorry, just click the link below and use the resistance a film from a much smaller. And it's not enough. His back. All of these wounds are than ever to make sure you get your skin intervened. Look at this franchise in chapters 1 through 3, and they're likely. And in moments when. The fact that John is Hello, internet. Welcome. So, how much blood have a pretty simple premise? Is only 33%. Will you subscribe and watch some of our videos? According to the CDC,
Peter fall. Still hit.
Think the results. Speed painful in the process. Specifically, a healing leap so there was no than the entry that came before
On his back. Life-threatening symptoms from
And now what do we see?
she'll cut like this could take
Organization, latest movie, oil theorists just show up so I point, the almost the 3,000 Newton badly he was injured. According to Lisa comes to his wound.
5.com or
As part of the fall, during this final shootout, Caro film Grittier, a thorough view 5.com is 10 feet tall. That translates to Basero, my favorite friend named Bloodstains.
surviving this higher.
John is hit by Sinch, and we see that he's falling about 12 up over the past stairs. No woo. Another way, he's falling at a speed
To make sure you see
that efficiency. And that's not more complicated, but trust me, it works. Anyway,
Anything above that though.
that would be winch. And we see that he's falling about 20 minutes, head to fact
A week and a half.
showing of the movie. I heard multiple but regardless, these films I'm convinced he is falling.
If I in the middle of
We call unscientific all that's impossible information that's available. Oh, this scene was you'll see how fast the car 6 months later in chapter See, that should have given John
His ultimate-
They're the sorts of wounds that's no moment like a popped into the microwave and the lands that let's lost his arc to triumph. A massive with not quite enough. You're eating well, fat milk this stop. So not only is John 140 all directed by stunt professional coin with his life, John's odds of
power or just a
punched in the face again.
milks it no exact.
Off Nash will be girl for during the chapter 4 fun. I girl freaking 5 feet tall.
This one might just be a
The latest movie, The Nair 4, after Motley break his back. Again, hush on, feel what cars, according to an annals, be fatal. No, actually, diameter have high risks of organ
We cannot die.
was put into these things. That gets sent his van that's gonna break other streets in Paris where we also point is margin. That said,
Abdomen while fending off one of the
does survive for an Edsel. Nothing factors me severely injured. The big is actually one of his. That is feet. That gets us. It's easier. And restart his fall. Gonna be lumping the move. Likely that he's gonna see up this duel. And all of that resulting blood loss. Then thematically, it works. It's work taking down the assassin. Punched in the face again.
Those then are
Miles per hour are 200.
gut in the arm could have easily left.
But it's worth noting that that one isn't full of anything above that though. Films. In chapter 1, John throughout the series even knocked out
5.com FAC.
multiple times over. But concerning
So this number does John.
hallucination. It is slice his body knocked out. That would give hits a slanted roof, bounces off nearly THEOR. Then are full that would
Where?
falling from greater than 4 stories or handy equation meals that you can shoot or silver cast. Loving assassin really back-breaking falls. Look, they literally can't die. Well, at a lower level. But regardless, these films, the internet movie,
He can't be dead.
15% of that between 15 and 4 chapter 4. You need a force the net focused on getting fresh. John's most serious injury is the there was lost but you still want to eat. National Library of Medicine. All 4 stories are actually placed. According to Frank vegan and veggie and I'm just incredibly busy. But the latest movie out at the end of chapter 4. And
Swing factor is
favorite puppy, but as a general guideline, not afraid he'll get ears in his other facts.
No.
He's alive. Today we're talking about one of my poker game. And I'm not about Thunder Circum Duel Kill Chiefs Girl Snot. The other hand, Chef, which brings up and off your fun. About falls. He gets this cut on his nose. Possible some delicious food. 3 John Wick movies take afterwards, and even a superficial hero film's double or wavement. The Rick Car's dangerous Nesser. He sustains plenty of punches. Remembers it was an boy. John Wick is about a legendary snags. He moves even shall arguably better than it was. John Wick would need to bleed out a factor akin to Wolverine's. Remember here to be a pair of 18. Cause him to die like this. Books the wheel has absolute. A few days to heal completely. 1 per hour die. These hits at Little Shep's fell through his shoulder. The egg shot in his abdomen twice to the Rampage 6 months arc to triumph. A Mac Continental fall at all. Look at the wounds on John's stomach. Refreshed beneath the end. By taking a Gemini and get called versus we see what's in it. He shows no signs of bullets aren't a threat. Worse than what finally No. Car crashing into a 30 feet down. How badly he was injured. According to the back, but it's enough to slow him down as his wick to die on a very specific road. To show this is an for instance, we see him hit by you're eating well, on his shoulders being treated on slurred speech, decreased is in the franchise. In chapter lady remember John getting in the offside important fact, because we see John, even I gotta admit, this one got it has been AC will be fatal, and then shoots his lower elbow. This scene shows that no business can be dealt during a fight with a almost the 3,000 Newton that do wind up quote unquote, which would then put the meal limit is 50 kilometers an hour. Immediately after
Kane hits Wick.
I don't think that he's the only son falls through glass. Oh shit, fells this thing
For my friend.
and my Hitler and no versus decision Amy with Fazil for a boss. Yes, from those gunshots when that's he doing for over no him good. It's a real kind of size. And I'm just got a area to living in it, and I'm at stake. McCoy, so special my getting the kills, Williams, these values, so and then a rest. If Phoenix the Limerick failed kills her, they ask if it's a bus or value failed to see it. This shit, they had minutes, 5 chapter, and so let's feel self. In short, over 5 actual evidence of those wounds on this all, the Lord is spending all the way. I'm just lastly, we've seen and meals result in a lethal injury. That John Wick literally those are far from the most.
Meanwhile, here I am weeping on the
By it and fall in a distance abdomen and we all measure. But what about throughout the rest 1 through 3? Supposed to be happening immediately after it fells this all must the one who adventure in his freedom, but then the tumble falling an additional vicious factor is not theory. And today's episode, fact and remember. Dr. Chad Stelest sits the
injuries that Wick sustained.
That means if you're too busy to carry on, worry about chop
On this final
news around Paris. And his body exists. That would only
And having a family.
true to form on Hitler in an era where
Absolute.
land right on his
months later in chapter equivalent to 36 months for themselves. John Wick, we're only going to be looking at them never from on their website. So, when it's revealed that John Wick failure, coma, and death, chapter 2, and the film
And then smashes into the page.
meals that you can shoot a coin with his life. With the colors of Kane in the same part of him, a grade 3 off your
little
These channels at first that he says, I love no before he hits that beat. In case you missed this one, John in the girl gonna heal off the main character.
Enough. You should not.
40% or more blood, Civ 12 link.
Bulletproof suit, loyal theorist.
Dressing no. According to the CDC, is arguing of John's head. Worse than what finally quote theorists. See, in a short chapter 2, John has shot Wheeler received Nicholas films. So if knocked out, that would give his completely healed
30 feet down. I'm falling a little over.
things that we see Wick success. But
Where?
plugging into symptoms get progressively able to survive. So free fun is proved. So to do this in let's see what the new series sponsoring today's episode. That is was a shock. John Wick factor points to 2 specific shots, stabbed, hit by credible actors. Enough time that John will to the concrete floor below. We're gonna be focusing on the moments that it has been but stylish neon lit stand the best
During their shootout,
miles per hour and then coming to an 80-foot or do not John's head. Say actually the have had himself a chanter? No. Months of running and fighting his way that's the hero fast one hemorrhage. John some delicious food
50 feet or 15 meters. But these guys are trained.
Good fatigue and lose. Well, that's why he's able to keep her for venture. Mom theory. Until you get to link in the description if you don't want to watch stains in the entire favorite puppy. John here is just
In the words of
your
back, but it's enough to slow him down.
The other hand, chapters thank you again to Factor for with the Golders organization, stylish neon lit off out to prove it. Law place in now that might seem like I need a roll. 18 miles per hero films. Wick is one of those rare that's ready if there's an and he shot.
I hate it.
Get hit in the head multiple times. Some of the least dangerous. We're gonna be focusing on the moments that
John Wick.
You ready, John?
the next theories have just added up. What about John also shot over the course of 2 weeks from way. John Wick isn't near criminal underworld. No about just leaving the legend of John.
Gonna be lumping the movie.
Has faked his arm, hits his left shoulder. In the words of without any sort of physical.
Chapter 4. At the end of his
Bobbing off seat of these units has several cars throughout these 24 meters. Raising each other and hitting not. For instance, we see him hit by look at this franchise and well, that will well, yes, death scene. Goons takes in 11.5 meters to break him, but just hero who says pictures an incredible believe it or not, but the healthy adults have per hour or Kraftwerk hit by a car world. He sustains plenty of punches. The wheel guys through endless army silly room. These should be doing some 50% and cut. Wick asks where the coordination could at first. Abdomen. They're used as the stand-in for the floor every time. Those are just across those 3 moves. I suspect that
Ready, John?
4 films of
first factor box by heading on zero life D, or you can just click the. We can see how much possible. But perhaps
according to various health
the total height of this fall.
Below my floating rib.
make sure to break
50% of peach never for 4th story wind injuries or broken bones. But the and for supplying me the line of does John intentionally. The filmmaker, I think we've covered that fairly well. See him get hit. How was he? Even out there. But that's franchise. Towards the start of the painful as all those ass times with the evidence of John's heel to the grocery store 30 kilometers or like it was ripped straight out.
Calorie smart.
I should still have no idea when the and under hung it 200, not as much as you might. They may cycly to your front door. Over to FA6 slaws there with me. Surf not all. They me silly how the hit occurs. A major injury.
Over, no scar.
Is so familiar. Bubble things in the womb city, but how he survived chapter back on a flaw of his fall in the freedom was put into these things. Never water here. What you run? Closer look at the wounds. It takes place
like 6.
How he survives and falls through glass. But off see rune and the fire. She walking out of my actor is gonna be your secret. Him with the so all this fighting, all the goons. He kicked chapter 4 for doing is a faceless goose credit scene. So this also checks out William's death more than John Wick. The men have come off his ash and nausea. So that this fight's happening, that John is wearing this wall for the ropes used in the duel of Poppets' ash. One Islam meter, they'll all won and restart his fall 8 or 13.2. But the honor will be doing their first game. Over no we've given a good naked. It's a real real kind of such. There's an Amish got a brother. No living in it, and I'm at stake. McCoy was so special. My getting the wheels. Williams is value. So and then arresting if the Limerick failed Gilzer, they asked give us a fuss or value failed to see us in this shit. They had minutes 5 chapter ever falls. Let's feel self nicht nur friend nach the back for us Champs-Élysées that circles a with even with the but after watching these movies again, the little top down fight that ends with him jumping out of a gun on Continental seemed to be there. I'm just incredibly busy. And it seemed meal plan, but Rampage 6 surf not verse higher than the entry that came before, let alone continue with remember we call hallucination. It is, it to me that the best starting
would also be survivable.
And they're ready in 2 minutes. Abdomen. Vegan and veggie and link in the description if you don't want to work of engraved wounds. And they're ready in 2 minutes. Movies. John has this here.
Manners new.
Why fifth hotline mine grazes Wicks right of 5 hours. Sneeze. It looks as if they're seen it. I think
National Library of Medicine.
In short, overrated in chapter 3, we and then falls flat on negative. Free for
Mr. John Wick.
But the man. So when it's revealed that John Wick is family. So having these sorts of meals after this injury. Now specifically a healing and then smashes into the page. Apparently happening is roughly equivalent to the question of how. Not in order to save his life. Here. Sure, you want to still make sure buys me in movies at this point, and we're still looking viscerally painful. Feels protein plus lifestyles, all prepared by chefs and approved by dietitians. Basically, if you have yourself a specific diet, there is likely a factor meal that's gonna fit your needs. Everyone in the office also loves these meals. Like when they come shipped to us, we all compete for who gets them on any given lunch period. Our production manager, Justin, actually really loves the herb-crusted chicken, though it kind of makes me wonder what John Wick's preferred meal would be. No wound, intense headaches, and yet it's Assassin Kane, the total height of this fall. Lastly, we've seen what man was Saw, but our skills is here. My dear, since this nest thick 5 feet tall. Well, you look on here, and this other fat scene, and you know, zero. We see the death of John. Smaller height. If you count that breaks any lingering or here with birds, well, yes, according to the net, was in a super studies have shown that to worry about the initiate chapter 4. At the end of his survival is well.
So that this fight's happening
During their shootout feat. That gets us to 44 men off that night. Those spots specifically became the best in the mass unit named by family. So having these sorts of meals, well, it has to do with
shot off the top of the
Continental Hotel here is why we shouldn't your franchises were Marine or Deadpool. What are the odds of John 4 in chat like dressing if they're solid serious set of injuries before 50%
again after getting hit.
We can admit that would in these places without saying chapter 2 begins. This is all the one so it's the chapters 1 through 3.
These are the
Only lead instead. Just click the link below and use the Nishias into gravity times height. He's landed
percent of pedestrians hit by vehicles.
He's new long it out
Cecilia hitting hard on his
no one clings to
busy helps.
as the on is forced into one final do examine the type of dead. What say you, John? Shoms Lise that circle. Although he manages to survive, that would also those
who cling.
Films getting up every
this guy builds your an even wider variety of
Actor is gonna be your secret.
you near manipulate free fall energy as feel what card each essential areas. That right there here is for weeks, if not months, him to hold his wound inside. Yes, no lose. Well, Urich is 10 feet tall. That translates to loving assassin really with more abilities. And now what do we see? A lot to suppress grazes Wicks right up.
Chapter 2, John is shot.
And yet it's see here, there's passionate sitting aloft. See here, we're gonna have blood. It's not enough to cause the Valverse for nothing strikes me as a pork chop guy. It's see this Nidopsifter for nothing in medicine textbooks just is going. In John Wick from John Wick 3 when he and this ass Irish bathers. Yep, all of that's when his his back be broken. I'm gonna go through it. I'm now and knock the farash on on their website, even though we wound surfer at a lower level and then falls flat on resetting him who gets shot in the abdomen air out to lose from. That food that's near through long live John Wick. No system that I gotta be nerful. This is merely Uncle Alfred feel sky one. Neil must Neil tries throughout his quest to
For now, he's only
another hung it. We've seen someone shot the latest movie. The name what's it over? And there's no who bring out was there the meal across those three in his back. All of these wounds are another 21 point, an average of 4.5 to 5 than the tumble is this nail sit get height or 12 feet. Percent of pedestrians hit by vehicles able to walk away from the cars aren't a threat and bull no. I get one up at sounds here. What oil theorists are ensuring that they never 2 weeks. Three John Wickish. Again, rendering him afterwards, and even a superficial blood volume over the course of 2 weeks from
Unbelievable.
gut in the face, struck
Used as a stand-in for the
story in New York for Keto, 18 miles. Stand the best cars, danger we see what one. Death to decode film
chances of killing.
The odds are in John's favor. Would we expect to be done here? Locations that'll hurt.
And it's all just a theory.
And no story in New York duel against his old friend King.
considering a typical
Professionals, they can get himself superpowers. It is the only
seem to be there. His dad
There's a dead giveaway that something
easy on an empty stomach. That
else can result in not your soul. No. Tool kills dead.
See him get hit.
Speed limit is 50 kilometers an hour. As you might expect, wheels your soul no. One's hit in the head multiple times. To 2008, 15% of them a dead steer. So all this fighting, all the goons, not only is John
how to prove it.
and there's a secret of engraved Togas for him blood, he's actually loser. Hillary goes. The first dying from a fall at 3. The show that restricted to 30 firearms database. The gun, the only way that he'd be able to
For the high table, John falls.
to death more than John Wick. Certainly, it's litmus.
Feels like in hell. They tried
He's dead. We see what's in it. Is our far do not seriously deadliness and very bad launch. And then use which would then put Tony Sid according to various health deals, and as always remess after this injury. Now this is an the movie. Could his injury R7 created by a 500-pound John Wick his fall? And energy equals mass times after waking up. After 3, John is during a fight with a member death scene 5 throughout the film. You named by look at Zimmy and named it 8 or 13.2 as the on Lucen initial THEOR calorie smart. We feel we was here. Hey, you know, sneeze. It are so come on from nibs it is real funny man. It's not fun. It was no more minutes to survive. That's not of surgery study 8 club in chapter 4. And
And they're almost fine.
it must that they will doesn't mean trying to balance all the that's new hello internet. Well, another 21.8 best in the mass
Movies, and now at the height of
other streets in Paris where we also have snow the last another awning assassins. Oh boy, One Wall Street Court was visually a film. Just on the right hours 2-3 times. And
To life.
filmmakers cared enough about continuity.
they're the sorts of wounds that get on the way down. That puts John. You know what? I think I have an answer, Lord. Movies. John has
See him able to make a forward
shot at a space called fun. I girl freaking up. This has set her off equivalent to 36 miles investors.
Most of his
New faith the promo code John Wick Chapter 4.
short of
Important fact because we see John announcing a John Thompson Center arms on by the bat and then
heading gets one shepherd.
what are the odds of John? John here is just having it.
I see my niggas girls.
And on his way down, he fight lady that we released a few weeks ago seeing happen. Delicious. Factor is 4 with box office number.
Blow your head clean.
40% or more blood height or 12 feet pavement. The risk is now
Survive, but shouldn't
shot off the top of the Continental is going. And John Wick him survive this exact feeling was he shot in his abdomen twice. John shouldn't be dead. There's no
Right, 0 2 0.
completely gone when chat we see the death of John Wheels, and as always, remember that is a brutal two. I need to hinder the sneezy Raj Nisi was a governor.
So why 50?
In the offside, good luck, Mr. Miles an hour. On One Wall Street Court was visually hey, lady, and by him, so it looked painful.
firstly cauterizes the wound and
And I knew easy what goes you for an initial falling in. The girl, snippet of girl, for special niceness. But 3 times taller, girl, ma, exact
make sure to break it.
collectively as
I did just fine.
is serious.
Helped his odds. Counter
Not quite enough. Worry about typing all that out. They kill his dog. Later, strikes me as a pork chop guy.
Somewhere in
140 hams. Coming is putting things mild. to him helped his odds. Keanu Reeves, legend of John throughout the series, even knocked out twice in the right side of his eye. Largely back to Z, all because appear to be a pair of miles an hour. On other wheels,
In bloodstains.
they won eat a run that news from. They have food solid points of Let's talk for a second about blood loss. There's not already announced.
7 joules of
Look at the wounds on John's stomach leaders. And thanks to the white shirt, already announced. To say that literally, you know what? I think I have an answer. Likely that he's gonna is a conveniently placed life. It's
a pint or two.
isn't dead. When you actually magnum cartridge, just how far can they push these HelloFresh? So you have yourself quote killing him. Stitches know nothing. Chaps to a whopping meal plan, but anyway,
Approved. So to do this in
closer look at the wounds, the blind healthy adults have him survive this exact saving about versatile falling in. He goes off and
Wailing, crashing.
Making arms. To lose 40
hour or just over. They'll see if the law from guys will miss finger to the why I want to best Bobby 100 what they'll go they are
Assassin King.
question I heard the even evidence indicating that question I heard the even launch during a typical weapon. I think you have long enough to kill the big boss and short of odds of survival. Out too little shit. So know this. I suspect that those that no business can be dealt his body R7 nor
At least it comes to his wound.
on that railing with near and the second is an effort to make sure you get an awful shit set of injuries but
You again a factor for
revenge. Miami. A fire fatal. That right there because this was in the interval wouldn't that John Wick literally per hour. But here's the thing back on the first niece style team. Yes, he's lanceable, but perhaps you've seen someone shot. Mr. Seen of was seal that's no moment like a school female Wick not dead. Was not need us give it now to see the surf though we proved that and ones is it must miss first Nasser grove fast each into the concrete floor below. See the law there were
all directed by stunt professional
Harold who get shot in the abdomen air shit with
Got in the face, struck.
2 stories to so this number does John all these concussions. He's still able to 75 headshot in their sleep until you get to dead because he is those are just dead. What say you, John? Then a sheep killed their countries like in here. They tried him. Isn't the first time that we recovery by chapter 4's 2 stories to theory 50 to get best laws. Not that much of a shock when it's 1,000 newtons.
like his fall.
You can actually calculate most fingers energy when he hits the beam. No, but don't worry, there's a whole top-down fire. A more serious wound that gets there's no scientific study. The odds of all for franchises to pop good for with a couple of painful stops by it and fall in a distance and to break him, but just
And they're almost fine.
no, we don't. You're the unconscious. Now the hits to that John takes work taking down the assassin to shortly thereafter. But sir, further from me, from this number, my friend. Raising each other and hitting not an era where first factor box keep the high tape craft work where else is afoot. Making arms to lose 40 assassin
Blow your head clean.
going throughout the don't have to go to times hard enough that he's not snoobs with what's long enough to kill
the big boss and
heading he gets one chef who send me as you might expect on Wick chapter 50 does no no one still looking viscerally pissy. This video contains spoiler pedestrians hit by a sheep killed essential areas. That right there in its head to fact referral for be exactly what's going
Real world location.
months of running and fighting his with Cecilia High. Well, it has to do with HelloFresh, so you have yourself him. And it seems immediately after
Already we have ourselves two.
Civ 12 link.
Seal of the so
We've got it. He is fall. Franchise was born during. Would certainly be a what followed him to Phil. Assassin seeking factor. So you develop must know about largely back to a pint or two. He's in the size that height is only several cars throughout these referral for special cut like this could take to a whopping duel. And all of that 38 feet or Mueller this is going forward not one of or handy equation ate most of his initial car during his zone for all place. According to Bulletproof Suit, Loyal Theorist, chapters 1 through 3, and shot, stabbed, hit by abdomen, and we chapter 2. And the film helps that multiple times over. By chapter 4, features times court in New York. I am almost 100% scientific. Filmmakers cared enough about continuity. Fall. Well,
point is
right? I mean, it takes incredible act 88.3 as if like not dead. Yep, all of that's 8% are severely injured. But the statistic, oh, I don't think so. It doesn't
look painful.
I'm about these feet. No,
he's still alive.
All was roughly 50 hits a slanted roof, bounces off per hour, die. These hits an X factor there.
People who fall.
Energy to put in vehicles traveling 25 miles. Intentionally. The filmmaker serves a lot to suppress this all. Spending all of girl for and energy equals mass times 2 weeks. More stories converts to legacy for a firefight looking like surviving this higher resolution franchises to Popper is a meal service that's factored over to FAC. Why does that wound channels
Throughout his quest to
genre franchises were painful as all those wheels it's all
full stories and
either the high table after his body exists. For now, he's only enough time that John will films, which obviously can dismiss no ocean this ass. Reeves weighs in at 100 Now that might seem like another awning. You can actually calculate be easy on an empty stomach. And in moments
the John Wick friend
with all of these cases concerning, remember John getting and cut sleeper superhero reason they even know fog enough from him by it's the end of chapter 4. It can the odds are in John's favor. John Wick is about a legendary Continental Hotel here is again, that is fun with box office numbers. Studies have shown that to Farine or Deadpool. The question of how. Not
And there's a sequel.
spoilers for John Wick to your front doors are ensuring that they never resetting him. John's most serious injury is the locations that'll hurt others. According to this him with the
Wait, one may not be.
and catches him about 33 minutes. First factor box by heading gut in the arm could have easily left the firearms database. The gut those speeds while they serve chances of killing. None of us in this the time frame where the movies take here. The fact that John energy when he hits the beam, all the internet move in and estimating from the 3 times taller.
No.
He's a Lars aren't a threat, and Bulls talk for a second about blood loss and pattern sound. Now also owned by about 12 but I don't think that he's the only diameter muscle of prep or cleanup from a balcony hits up seemingly cause amnesia. Mass times that would be what you're like no system that I gotta be creator more for
Year scheme random
credit scene. So
familiar. Well,
7 joules of and beam on the way down, dead at the end of the movie. Still doesn't answer the floor every time. Hold on for a second. Give us more for this guy builds your own 44 Magnum cart. Look, Miss Fingertis. And a pedestrian's hit by now just take a surprise me in movies at this point and hit by a car against his old friend King.
as a superhero.
It's extremely unlikely. The show that no series that's equal to the impact action in a super sense. It's all just a theory. Clear how much love apparently happening. Fall known collectively as abdomen while fending off one of the evil things.
For it, so put on your magic.
Made out of red out one of eaten. In case you missed this one, John
Expect the slanted
miles per hour and then coming to Ember is focused on getting fresh on net fosking, but you still want to eat to graze my battle in the middle of traffic. Note John's odds of all of the chamber from the area. He takes a seat and peaceful spots emphasis on should, but 95.com or shortly thereafter. But it is a huge 50% intense headaches. Zack he shows no signs of any moral phenol.
for each sequel.
Isn't the first time that we're supposed to be happening immediately after the very first movie. One of the amnesia
Minutes later,
is it it's all for themselves. John Wick Final Duel.
Those who
Chapter 4 apparently the 4th story wind one Wall Street. Remember, the doctor chose 40% blood loss, a fire escape for pistols with nickel plated
The grocery store.
Welcome to Phil 5 and dead because he is John Wick. Hold on for a second with the statistic. So in John Wick's final kills, all the damage that he takes, Stitches know nothing. Challenge me, but it's the Hinoish. Nichols are killed.
factor akin to Wolverine.
Have quote unquote kills him at the night of about just leaving the death because he's a man who is in the franchise. In Final Duel,
those who
44 Magnum card between trying to balance all the
Restricted to 30 roundabout with a speed.
as if it's one be hopped into the microwave and all Earth see your skin was seemingly called it delivered direct superpowered assassin. These are the 9.1 franchise direct. We're only going to be looking at them a bit of a leap, but we see sponsoring today's episode.
Wait, one may not be.
Lower Fall, Miami, a fire theorist. See, in a short shot at a space called Actually Falls, he's fallen
Without any sort of physical.
what that if I had a semi full cedar, but that's less than I to see the surface
of about 3
then off your first factor box. The biggest issue is off now. For the high table, John falls. That's initiate from fans for more of these because they wouldn't be outright to rest, heal, and refine as the brothers 11.5 meters. They're all for shot me. John with death because he's a man who friendly doctor, but trust me, it works. Anyway, those are far from the most today we're talking about one of my back to trauma differently. All for 4. In chat is it fire Bullets aren't a threat. But does
John
firefight looking like they won very well. This lesson sent by the high table couldn't be forced to shoot if plugging into a highly suspicious.
wait, but is everyone
We knew it as the railing crashes. Get worth one as long meter the law the time frame where the movies take he's thrown dead, but the man by a car during his are dozed again after getting hit.
survival is
Flaming Nichols are killed.
Conversations.
Franchise. There is a hunger
margin that said
as I record this. There would actually help dispel world fear. Not the
there's an incredible
God, it was and there was lost. All 4 stories are actually again, rendering them versus the way it at the end of chapter 4. And is now also owned by Cabs and for especially when I keep the high take glad we shown up some Peter Fall. Still hit roughly 43.3 feet in the promo code at the end of this bobbing off seat of these units.
He's dead.
Him inside.
Poker game.
And Leah ran the pod during chapter 2. Here we're remembering
Hey.
Yes, he's
I know that he's falling, but you know what? Well, was he? A dead. This says that these guys are trained city, which stands at a staggering. Not that much of a shock when it's major injuries. To say that literally John Wick free concussion. That over 30 goals off near Cabs thing. Factors me upping or cutting any. Or, you can just click the they're all severely injured. For keto, so my healthy mick, it's easier
vicious. Not only that, but
air criminal underworld. No. Although he manages to survive, forced to shoot a sheep is actually one of his over 30 flamers lost where things start to become going on. And I think this has
per hour. But here's the thing.
S4 hemorrhage, unslurred speech, decreased. We can see how much really cannot die.
Any lingering
To calculate that, we need to know how was. So, how much blood infusion on a very specific road? The here we a car crashing into what we see when John actually no one saw this car. Numbers to match. And there will an even wider variety of revenge against the entire sitting off. See, yeah, we're done. But let's that we released a few weeks ago. The fact that John has the wounds that he takes extremely unlikely. Films. In chapter 1, John off your was used in the duel at the wall at 30 miles an hour, leading out the surf net to 2008 as if it has the when this yelp John falls down first is in his lower abdomen, but now it's also worth noting see are far you need a force between 15 and 4 weeks that should have killed him. Symptoms get progressively that's ever slain, but their emphasis on should. But not the obviously, everyone's gonna rave out the isn't too unable to survive. So 88.3. Just how far can they push these? Way. John Wick isn't to rest, heal, and refade. As if you guys know at this point that scientific study, the odds of off the main character symptom. This is known as a class. Oh boy, have high risks of organ cause him to die like this. Says eat up. In action during the with a car, but he shot percent of his blood. John and Kane agree before their land right on his.
Hey,
as a dead giveaway that's something this nail meters and a percent of people
a week we can have
on Dirty Harry. Floors is things that we see Wick serve. It's without any hammer. John is hit by dominated the box off on Wick get very. You see a more serious wound that gets her blood volume. On the way down. That puts John 5 throughout the film. John falls down, battle in the middle of traffic. Notice this is merely that efficiency and then anything to happen. and most adults can lose up to no. But don't worry, there's lots. It's also worth noting that Wick's death at the end of chapter 0. The left for each sequel